I mean, what am I capable of? I'd like to think that I'm a nice person. But I don't know, man. A lot of it is context. There's a lot of things I wonder if the world was different. Like if murder was legal, I might have killed a few people. I don't know. I'd love to think, oh, I would never do that. But we really need the law against murder. For one simple reason. The law against murder is the #1 thing preventing murder. We'd like to think it's because, like, oh, I would never do that. No, it's because it really sucks getting caught murdering. A lot. If murder was legal, or just a misdemeanor, like you get a thing in the mail, oh shit, they had a camera there. Oh, well. If murder was legal, there would be so much murder. Regular people would murder. Murderers would murder even more. And then really nice, sweet people would murder a few people. But nobody would murder no people. You wouldn't trust somebody who didn't murder. If murder was legal, you wouldn't like them. I never killed anybody. Okay, nice meeting you. Ugh. What a creep. I mean, not even a hooker. Live a life. What's wrong with that guy? He's like a Mormon or some shit. I hate those guys. I think he's nice. Shut up, Janet. It would just... If murder was legal, there would be a lot of murder. Children would behave very differently. Because mostly parents would be murdering their own kids. That's mostly what would happen if murder was legal. You'd be, you know, you go to a mall, there'd be like 8 different moms in the mall just, I told you to stop it! You didn't listen to me! You'd be stepping over dead kids. It'd be like a new problem. You have to clean up your kids when you kill them, because it's gross. It's bad for the environment. If you murder your child in a public place, please use one of the red bags that are in the dispensers every 3 feet of America. Put your murdered child in the red bag with a logo of a murdered kid on it. Next to the other logo that tells you not to let your alive kid play with a plastic bag because they might suffocate. In which case you could just leave them in the bag. That is a whole bunch of horrible thoughts right in a row. Right in a row. That is a compressed area of bad thought.
Days that you spend with them. That's really the hardest part. It's just every day that you have them is the hardest part of having kids. It's just every day. It's getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, which, first of all, I'm not that guy. 6 o'clock in the morning. I have blown off entire careers because of one day I didn't want to get out of bed. Like, oh, I'll just not be that then. I have to, first of all, I got to get them dressed. That's #1, because that's the one that people will notice. That's the only one. If that's the only one that I get done, I'll be okay. Because I can't, if I show up with 2 naked kids, I'll go to jail. So I have to, but I can not feed them. They're fine. They ate. They're just a little tired. It's fine. And then I got to get them to school, which means walking. The older one goes to kindergarten. It's 3rd grade. Jesus Christ. I just said kindergarten. And she's in 3rd grade. You know what's even worse? She's not. She's in the 2nd grade.
Anyway, so yeah, wolves are like dogs.
Yes, thank you for asking.
Every day you spend with your kids is torture. And it's because I love them. If I didn't love them, I wouldn't matter. I just play poker with my friends, come home later, oh, they're dead. But I love them. I wiped my daughter's ass for the last time on May 13th of 2008. And I remember this moment because it was a big moment in my life. Because when you have children, they start as babies and they shit all over the place. But then finally they can use the toilet, but they can't wipe their ass. So you have to wipe their ass. That's the last thing you do for your kid. It's like an intimate bathroom thing, is wipe their ass. And one day it stops. And I remember the day. I said the date, but I don't remember it now because I'm lying. Because I had always wiped her ass all that time, and it's just a thing you do. I didn't even think about it. I said, Daddy, I need a wipe! And then I come in, I'm on the phone, like, yeah, okay. So, anyway, so I wiped her ass one day, and she said, thank you very much, Daddy. I was like, that was a little too eloquent. A thank you for somebody who I just wiped shit out of her asshole. I want to hear like, thank you, Dada. I don't want to hear like, that was very gracious of you, Father.
Daddy!
Hey.
Good morning, Daddy.
Good morning. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Why are you awake?
I'm hungry.
You're hungry.
Daddy, can we go out to breakfast?
You want to go out to breakfast now?
Had a bad night. Had a real bad night. Kind of night where you wish you didn't have to have any more nights. You had a bad night. Boy, was that a shitty, shitty night. It wasn't your first and it wasn't your worst. But all the same, could somebody please stop these shitty, shitty nights? Over, bring back the sky. The whiskey's gone and the calm is dry. There was a time when all we do was sit on the floor and get real high. That don't work, you can't say goodbye. You're too young to die, you're too old to cry. The ones who see the bad nights.
Thank you. Hello, how are you? Good. Hey, guys. Nice to be here. I had a good day. I went shopping today. I had to buy a belt because my pants... Here's the problem. You know when you get fat and your pants get tight, and then you get fatter because it's not like, oh, I'll stop eating. And then all your pants hurt. Like every pair of pants hurts. And then you eat even more because you're like, screw it now, man, and you just get depressed. But here's what happens. If you get fat enough, your belly starts to push out, and your pants won't even hang in the normal place. And then they get down to your pelvis, and then they feel loose, and you're like, hey, losing weight, all right, I'm coming down. I guess I ate my way through to the other side. I've gotten look at this. This is ridiculous. The crazy part is that my belly hits my pelvis at a right angle. It just goes right in. Like when I'm in the shower and I'm scrubbing, when I get down there, I gotta cut in like this. I actually have to scrub. Or else that gets filthy down there. It's like it's like a theater seat. I find pennies and receipts and stuff. Yeah. And the worst part is I'm 39, so it's not like I'm gonna get better. This is it or a lot worse for the rest of my life. It's not like I'm going to be all ripped when I'm 48. It's over. And I got tits, too. I just got boobs. I got boobs on my body. How depressing is that? That is a really weird moment in a guy's life when you catch your boobs in the mirror and you get all these weird feelings, you know? They must be the same feelings that a teenage girl has when it's the only thing that a 12-year-old girl and a 40-year-old man have in common is that moment when you're going, nothing. You got to carry your books like this. It's depressing. I think it's because I eat huge amounts of food all the time. I was at a party recently for my daughter and a friend of hers had a party, so I had to be in a room full of awful people at a birthday party. And but then there was a plate of cookies. And once I saw the cookies, I'm like, all of this is that now. I'm going to eat every cookie.
And you got to have like a strategy for how often you go to the cookie plate and keep rediscovering it like you haven't seen it. The first time you see it, you're like, oh, somebody brought cookies. Yeah, I gotta go ahead. You gotta go like this, like, I don't have to have one, but I don't want to insult anybody, and you eat one. I can take it or leave it. You walk away, the whole time radar back there. Later on, different group of people around. I want the cookies. Somebody. If people start to notice how much you're eating them, you have to say something like, these are crazy. What's with these cookies? They're weird. It's like, no, it's not that you're a fat piece of crap that can't stop eating. They're insane cookies. I love all food. I like food from other countries. I was in Chinatown. I know that's not another country, but I was in Chinatown, and I went to the this grocery store, and they had weird food there. They had, I swear to God, they had duck vaginas. They had duck vaginas in a big barrel with a scoop stuck in it. And I'm looking at these duck vagina. First of all, I'm thinking, could we possibly dominate a species more than that? Than that we're selling their vaginas in barrels? The ducks are like, dudes, enough already with that. I didn't get any. I didn't buy any because I don't want to know. What if I love duck vaginas? What if I love duck vaginas. They're so good. It's not like a million things taste like a duck vagina. 4 in the morning, I gotta have a duck vagina right now! Chinatown's closed, I gotta go to the park with a knife. Where's a duck? Thank you very much, folks.
That was a lot of clips. That was a lot.
Well, that's all we have time for.
Yeah, that was a lot.
No, seriously, I was thinking this before, but you know, I've seen those clips several times, and honestly, like, those are, you know, just a couple of the best scenes I've seen of anything, you know, this season.
It's weird seeing them all strung together like that. It's a little, there's something wrong with me, I think. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, no, I mean, the thing I was struck by just watching it now, I've watched them a bunch of times, but particularly the scenes from Bully and God, those kind of played differently in a big room than I'd seen them before. Yeah. You know, and there were laughs where I wouldn't think there would be laughs, but then it sort of makes sense because there's tension and it's building the tension. And the whole thing kind of made me think, you know, do you think of the show as a comedy or a drama, or a comedy with part drama, or a...
Well, it's a comedy, and I feel sometimes a little irresponsible when I'm that unfunny. But I also, to me, that stuff is really funny. It's not funny that you laugh like in the earlier clips, and it is interesting to watch with the audience, because I've watched some pieces of the show with audiences, like when we premiered, we had a party and stuff, and people came. So I watched people laugh, but watching people watch the bully scene is really intense with an audience, because it's so humiliating. And also, even though I shot it and deliberately made myself go through that, it's painful to watch me. I mean, the kid's half my size. I probably could have taken him, but I don't fight. I'm not that guy. So anyway, it was really interesting to watch with an audience. But yeah, I guess it's the show's, again, to me, it's really funny that a guy gets that debased and loses a woman over it. I think that's really funny. And I mean, I may be wrong, but it is just my sense of humor tells me that the funniest thing that we did all season was that dude nailing the Jesus back up. Because he just had to, you know, it's got to be done. And poor Jesus is like, I had 10 minutes off of there, and I got to go back up. I have a lot of sympathy for Jesus that I don't feel like the church had. That's why it's just so mean. And I feel like he did it the same way the Romans did, and it's just funny that a priest would tell him, get him back up there. All right, you know, I'll do it. So that's funny to me. And, you know, it's not laugh funny the way that earlier stuff is, but it makes me laugh.
But it's funny when you sit down and you watch them, there's kind of thematic similarities between some of the really ha-ha-ha funny stuff and in the first, the Dr. Ben clip. Yeah. You show your naked ass while a man makes, fun of your penis, and in Bully, you obviously, you've got the character being, what's more difficult, what's harder to watch, what's harder to do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely all this stuff is pretty self, mutilating, and that's why it was a funny package to watch.
Yeah.
For me, and then having Amy Landecker, who I'm trying to fuck in one scene, and then she's my mom in the next scene, which is something I did consciously, but not. I didn't expect to ever see them back to back like that. But one reason I did it is because at the end, she auditioned for the mom part before I even wrote Bully. But I kind of wrote Bully like in an hour, and then I threw it into production, and I threw Mom aside and the God thing, and so then she did Bully and she nailed it. And then I started watching God auditions. I hadn't even watched them. And I watched her do that. And at the end of the audition, she says, "You want to get some donuts?" And it was eerie because the whole donut thing in the Bully scene. And so I said, fuck it, I'm going to give her the part. But I never thought I'd watch. That's weird. A little upsetting. Anyway.
Well, when I was thinking about what I was going to ask you about the show, I was working out questions in my mind, and I realized that I didn't even know how to phrase stuff because it would be. So in that scene where you such and such, or do I say you? Do I say Louis? Like, what do you think? How do you think of that character?
It's me. None of these things have ever happened to me. I never broke into a church and dragged Jesus off the cross and caressed him lovingly. That never happened, but I was scared to shit by the Catholic Church. When I was a kid, and they taught you about Jesus, they taught you those details. They made it as gruesome as they could, because that was the idea, was to impart the passion. That's the whole point of it. You tell kids every detail of it is remembered. It's a story. When you think about it, it's such an old story, but they tell you every detail. They tell you the amount of times that each thing was done to them and everything. So,
and that you did it.
What's that? Yeah, and then it was your fault. Yeah. It's not that simple, but they actually do tell it that simply to children, and that's when the shit goes in. They don't tell you. It's not like when they teach American history and they tell you Columbus discovered America, and then they start telling you, well, he didn't. He didn't really. It's already, there were Vikings already, and well, why'd you ever teach me that? Just because it's easier to say that, and then we tell you this part. But with Jesus, they just tell you, you're bad, and he was sent here, and this is what happened, and all that stuff. So yeah, it's me up there, but it's autobiographical fiction, I call it sometimes, because it's the way I would act in those situations. But I'm being myself mostly, although I let myself make huge, terrible mistakes that I wouldn't make in real life. And I let myself have worse judgment than I have in real life, because it's more entertaining. And I'd rather take it on myself than to shine a light on other people who I think are bad. That's a boring thing to do. So I'd rather take on the bad behavior and show it that way.
Yeah. Another thing I think you get an accentuated sense of from those clips is a thing that you do in the show where it has these two kind of opposite hallmarks, which is there's this very verite, realistic way that the show's presented, and it's also there are elements of complete surreality. I'm just wondering, first, going back to the pilot, the helicopter at the end of the date. What does this bring to the? What is having these bizarre elements?
Yeah, that's a scene where I'm on a very relatably bad date with a girl. Everything's going wrong, and I'm in an ill fit to going out with a young woman. I'm not sure how I got the date to begin with, but then at the end, I make this terrible decision to try to kiss her after chewing her out. And I get this weird signal in my head that, hey, she wants me, and I start leaning in to kiss her, and she's so reviled that she runs into an already waiting and running helicopter that takes her, away. I don't know, it made sense to me. It did. It just felt right. It felt like something that ought to happen. And, I don't know. I have a lot of different reasons why I do things. I did when we were getting ready to do the pilot, I told Blair, my line producer, I wanted to get a helicopter in the show somewhere. And I was thinking helicopter. I had shot this HBO pilot, and she found a really cheap helicopter guy. They're usually really expensive. But she found a really cheap guy. He liked us. He liked when we did HBO. He just enjoyed the time he spent with us. So I was writing that bit, and when I got to the end, I said, yeah, fuck it. She gets on a helicopter. And I love it. It feels right to me. When I'm watching the helicopter take off, that feels like the way I feel at the end of a lot of dates. And that's how bad it got. That it went to a place that can't possibly really happen. Yeah. That's the way it feels sometimes. So these are the kind of choices that I make that I know that some people would go, yeah, but you took me out of it. And then my answer to it is like, okay, well, if enough people say that, then I'll get canceled. So there's kind of a justice to it, Yeah. As long as people like it, some people won't. I get people email me angry things sometimes. That was bullshit, and they get mad. If that happens enough, I'll stop.
Yeah. Another thing you've mixed up in the show is that there are elements of the show that are serial or that recur in episode to episode, and on the other hand, you have two different moms and two different. I mean, not obviously just the actress because of the age difference, but in character,
totally
really
different mothers.
People.
Yeah.
So do you think of every episode as just a short film entirely divorced from the others?
Yeah, I take it on as each episode has, even not only just each episode, but each piece inside of each episode has its own goal. And I don't know, I like to keep trying different things, and I think in terms of baseball and boxing a lot. And for baseball, to me, this is like, there was a pitcher for the Yankees once called Orlando Hernandez. They called him El Duque. And what made him so hard to hit was that he had many arm angles. Like sometimes the ball would come from here, sometimes from, you just didn't know what the hell. And I sometimes think of my relationship with the audience as an adversarial one. Like I want to keep them off their, I don't want them crowding the plate, You have a fastball, and those are jokes. But then you have weird sliders and breaking pitches that make people nuts. They don't know when they're going to see what. I like putting audiences in that place where they're not sure what the fuck you're doing. Because when you have them off balance, and then you hit them with something simple and funny, then they go, oh my God, I can't believe I laughed. Because I was always starting to go like, I'm not into this anymore. So, I don't know. So to me, having different mothers, I had some feelings about, I had the idea of a mother that's totally narcissistic. She's really more my dad than my real mother's never been like that. But I thought, what if I was visited by a mother who was that terrible? And I have a lot of people in my life that are that narcissistic. And so I meditated on that with that bit. But for this, to tell this story, I wanted to really show what my mom was really like. Because that's a conversation in the car is almost exact. My mother called me afterwards and said, "Jesus, that was like you had a video camera in our car, in my Pinto, in the '70s." We really had that conversation. Not because I tore Jesus off the cross, just because I caught her in not believing it. That's what happened in real life. I said, "So when Jesus did this," and she was like, "I don't know." I was like, "Wait a minute, do you believe in this?" She's like, "No." And then we had that conversation.
And the beauty moment is that then at the end the car doesn't start.
Yeah.
It seemed like something that had to come from life.
Well, no, that didn't really happen. That was because I didn't want to watch them get in, drive, and I thought, it just happened when I was shooting it. I was like, you know what, have the car not start. Let's do that. And I like that. And yes, people can think that it means there really is a God, and he's taken this little petty revenge on my mom. Like, that's how God, I love that people think that God is that petty. That he's like, there couldn't be, if there is a Jesus, there couldn't be a worse thing a mother could do than to tell her son, you're off the hook, none of this happened, it's bullshit. And the idea that Jesus is watching, he's like, you know what, you're going to call AAA in a minute. You know, hope you believe in AAA, bitch. But, what else is going on?
Can you talk about a little bit about the deal that you have to do the show? Because I understand it was kind of an unusual financial arrangement
With
to,
the FX, it's. I don't think I've ever heard of anybody having the situation that I have right now. Part of it is because I'm working for cheap, but that's happened before. Basically, I went into doing the show with a lot of strength, negotiating wise, because I didn't care if I had the job or not. There's nothing more powerful than just saying no to people. You know, if you say to somebody, "Please give me this," I swear I can do it, and here's why. You're not going to go in well. But if you actually say, I don't want to do it. I was on the road doing stand-up, and I was making a lot of money and enjoying my shows. So I didn't want to go to Los Angeles. I live with my kids here in New York, and the most important part of my life is that I spend half of every week with my kids, and I don't have to work during that time. I'm a stay-at-home dad from Monday morning till about Wednesday, Thursday afternoon, and then I go on the road and do stand-up. It was perfect. And so I went out to LA and I did a theater show there, and a lot of people came and it did well. And then NBC and Fox and all these people started throwing offers to me to do a show, and there were a lot of money. And then I started to think, well, maybe I should do it for the money because I could stay home a little bit, and the show will never get on the air. There's no way I'm getting on the air at NBC. But it's crazy. They pay you to fail. They pay you a huge amount of money just to sit there and think of an idea, and then you tell me the idea, and they go, nah, keep the money though. It's a weird system. Makes no sense. Anyway, this could be too long an answer. Let me cut right to the chase. I went to FX, and they said, I didn't want to go to FX. My manager, Dave Becky, who's here somewhere, he's also an executive. But you can thank that guy who was raising his hand for the show even existing. Because he made a meeting for me and John. I'm hemming because I blanked on his name for a second. He's my patron saint now. I'm fucking Landgraf, and he made a meeting for us, and I canceled it. I called FX and said, I'm not going. I didn't feel like it. I don't like going to meetings. It's boring. So I canceled the meeting at FX. And he called me and said, "What? You can't cancel that." And I said, "They don't have any money. Why the fuck would I want to work there?" And he said, "Because this guy's really smart." And so I met John Landgraf, and he said, "We'd like to do a show with you, and we have a lot of freedom here, but we can only pay you $200,000 to do the pilot." And that's, I was being offered like whatever, $300-400 just to personally have as money by the other networks. So I said, well, okay, you're giving me $200,000, what's the budget for the show? And he said, no, that's the whole show. It's what you get paid and what you spend on the show, $200,000. And I was like, I don't want to do that. And I told him I could do a sketch show for that. I could do a little sketch show. And he said, well, how about a sketch show about your life? And I was like, well, that's a dumb idea. And so I went home, and then he called me in my house. Landgraf did, and he said, look, I get it. I get what you're doing. You want to be Charlie Sheen. That's what you're headed. It's funny now because he's naked. Yelling nigger on the streets and all that stuff. But I don't know why that's just what alcohol does to famous people. But anyway, Charlie Sheen, to me, he was saying, you want to be a big star on a big network, and I was getting sick as he was saying it, the idea of that. But he said, if you come in, I said, look, give me $200,000 and I'll do the show, but you can't, I'm not writing it and then sending you a script. You have to just give me the money and I'll send you a show, a DVD in like 3 months. That's it. No between anything. I'm not pitching. I'm not even telling you what the show's about, who's in it, how I'm doing it. You wire me the money. I didn't even want to have, because this is the way I figured was that I'm very lazy. I'm a lazy person. And unless I get excited about something, and I thought if I have $200,000 of FX's money in an account, then I'll write something. So he said, I have no problem with that. And so that's the way we did it. He literally wired me $200,000. And at one point, Dave, God bless him, and my agent were trying to get it up. They were like trying to get it to 3 or 4. And then Landgraf called me and said, do you understand that I can write you a check? I can send you $200,000 from my desk. But if it's more than that, I have to go ask Rupert Murdoch for the money. And then you're going to have to explain to somebody what the show's about. You have to at least tell me what it's about. And I said, okay, keep it at 200. And I won't tell you anything. So he sent me $200,000. And I called Blair and all the people that I worked with making films here in the city for years, and Paul Kessner, my great DP who can shoot for nothing. And we decided to shoot on the red and I started piecing the show together, not from what it even was about. I was like, I want to shoot a show that feels like short films, that's done with beautiful lenses, and that we shoot it, carefully, like an old film crew. I started thinking about the kind of people I would like to see in the show before I had written anything. And then I started piecing together little scripts, and I ran out and shot one thing and then stopped and then wrote more, and I just kind of created it I just took the money and just threw it at objects and people. And I shot way more than I needed. I shot something like 3 episodes worth of material and crunched it down to the pilot and gave it to them. And they had no idea what they were going to see. They just pressed play and they watched it. And that's a great trick, because usually they have to read the scripts, then they do rewrites, and they're sick of it. But they had no idea what the show was. And they watched it and they said, yeah, let's keep doing it. And they gave me $300,000 for the series per episode. That's it. I mean, I get paid out of that. I get paid Writers Guild minimum for the script, DGA minimum for directing. And I pay myself very little as an editor. I just make the show. And when we started doing the series, John Landgraf said, well, you got to tell me something. And so I said, well, let's have a beer and let's talk about it. So we just sat, and I told him 3 ideas for the series, and I didn't do any of them. So I said, here's 3 ideas, I may or may not do them. And he said, sounds fine. And so that was it. Every week we would take the money and we'd make shows. And also I had the freedom to spend more on some shows than others. Some shows cost $500,000. Some shows cost $150,000, depended on the subject matter. They didn't know who was in the show. I was more able to get interesting actors, people like Ricky, because they didn't know Ricky was on the show. They watch and they go, how the fuck did he get Ricky Gervais? They just watch it. That's Matthew Broderick? How the fuck? And they just, so, and that was, to me, it's much more fun to me. Doing the show this way is a lot of pressure. It's a huge amount of pressure. Because if the show stinks, if I give them an episode that stinks, then I have to do it over again. I mean, that's the deal that we have. They have a right to say, yeah, we just didn't like that one. And then I have to make another one. Yeah. So it's a lot of pressure, and also I want to keep that freedom. I knew that if 2 episodes in, if the shows were weak, they would have come. It wasn't a contractual right. It was just a verbal agreement. It remains a verbal agreement between me and John Landgraf that I have that freedom. It's not a deal that I have. I mean, that deal doesn't exist. They would never put that on paper. That would be suicide.
It sounds like it comes out of petty cash.
Yeah,
like
it does.
Just opens up his
it
top
does.
drawer and,
it's literally, my show is so cheap that the advertisers don't know what they're advertising on. That's how it's so cheap to pay for that people will advertise on it without knowing what's in it. Red Stripe beer doesn't give a shit what I'm doing. So, but I earned that right with every episode. If I start sliding downward and the show gets weak in their mind, they'll send people, and I'll have to have every script submitted to them. Everything. That's my contract says that I serve at their pleasure, and they have approval over everything. But that's not how we do it.
Just a couple other things, and we'll try to get some. We'll get some questions in from the audience. But related to that. You do so much on this show, write, direct, edit, etc. So there's almost something like, as much as this looks like a 21st century cable comedy, kind of old-timey TV about it, but why do you kill yourself like that on this?
Well, it's just so fun. I just love it. I love it. I like writing by myself because these are all like first drafts, really. Like, I like this show to feel like it's right out of my gut or brain or balls, one of the 3, without it going through a process. I can tell when I watch television that it's gone through a process, and I know the process because I've been there, but I think audiences do too, even though they don't know. They know they're being bullshitted with. They know they're watching something that has a system to it, and it's not fun because they can see it. They can see the moves now, and that's because we take scripts in TV shows and we give them to a room full of really good professionals, and they perfect the scripts. But you can only, when you perfect, you take them in the same direction as everybody else. So I tend to write stuff and then leave it alone and trust the first burst idea of how the dialogue is written and everything, and I'll slash and cut it. But I don't rewrite a lot. But then I meticulously shoot it. So I'm taking something that was barely thought through, and I execute it as a director much more carefully. And I could never do that. If I had a writing staff, they would never let me do that. It would be much harder, and also be 12 times more expensive in the writing department. And as a director, I can pay myself shit, and I think I'm worth it. So I love it. I love going to this set every day and getting to shoot this stuff. It's so fun. And the autonomy just greases the wheels. It makes it easy. I can write pages while I'm shooting and change stuff, or
The story that you told about having the same actress play your date and your mom, I think I'd first heard that because I think you posted that in response to it was a review of one of the episodes at the AV Club.
I Google myself too much, I think. And
well, I'm kind of worried because it's sort of the flip side of that solitary auteur approach that you now exist as a creator in this world where there are a zillion opinions out there, and you can read every word that's written about you, and you actually engage with some of your critics and fans. What do you get out of that?
It's not a good idea. I shut down my Facebook and MySpace and all this stuff I used to have because I don't think it's healthy for me to have access. I'm close to shutting Twitter down because I say things I shouldn't say on Twitter too. Just because I can't. I have a bad form of Tourette's that I can't really resist. That's not nice to say because that's a real condition. But maybe I got it. I don't know. But in that case, it's really narcissistic. Sitting there Googling your name and somebody wrote a thing on a blog in Turkey about my show. I'm gonna see what he has to say. It's really gross, and I've tried to actually temper it because there was such a massive amount of stuff to read for this show, and so I had to actually say, stop doing this. This is disgusting. But I'm a comedian. I work. My whole life revolves around getting, feeling the laughs or the not laughs, or feeling it's not all that I need laughs. It's like the challenge of getting a laugh or the challenge of getting through a dry spot in a show. I'm all about the audience. So when you produce this stuff and then just let it go on the air, it's nice it's fascinating to see what people think of your material. And the folks that were asking questions about the two moms were intelligent. I just enjoyed the conversation. It's like I went to a party and they were talking about my show, and I was wearing a fake mustache or something over my real mustache, and they were having a conversation that was compelling to me. And I said, well, I actually know why I did it, so I'll tell them, because I liked them. I liked the people that were talking. If somebody had written, why did that fucking faggot make two fucking different chicks his mom? What a douchebag. I would have left it alone because that's not as interesting. Although maybe I would have answered him too. I don't know. Because you dick, I wanted to.
Well, in that spirit, should we go to the room? And I guess I have to pick people. Let's do the Georgetown shirt over. Oh, if you can't see the shirt, I'm sorry. Guy Forrest back here.
Thanks a lot. And thanks for being so generous as a comedian. I think we all really appreciate it. Two quick questions. This kind of intricately exploring your moral core in all these horrible lapses in morality and everything, does that go all the way back to you starting as a comedian? Because you said you started in high school, so I was wondering if that was true. And then also, how did you get into directing, and how did you learn about directing? And along the line.
Well, when I started stand-up in high school, and I didn't care about my moral core or whatever. I don't think I have one of those, but I didn't think about that. I just wanted to try to be funny. Several years that's why it really takes 20 years to make a good comedian, because at least for the first 10 or 12, for the first 10 years, you're just trying to learn to be funny. So you just come up with, hey, maybe a joke about rocks would be good, and you apply your comedy knowledge to rocks, and then you try current events for a while, and those come and go, and then you're also sort of joining a chorus of hate when you do that. And so you try all this stuff, and none of it, some of it works, and then you start hating it. So after 10 years of learning how to be funny and how to just do the work of being a comedian, just like learning piano, it's like if you were learning piano on really shitty pieces, but you are getting the skill. And then you go through 5 years or so of realizing that you've wasted 10 years talking about nothing to drunks in bars, and it's too late to go back and do anything else with your life. It's a bad time. So then you have 5 years of just repeating the shit you've been doing and not knowing why, and then either you bottom out or you go write for a better comedian, or you give up or kill yourself, or something else comes in and gives you got something else that you want to talk about. So other shit came to me that I wanted to talk about. So I changed in that way. I learned how to direct. I worked for a local access cable TV station in Newton, Massachusetts, where I grew up, and I learned how to run video cameras and how to edit. I shot hockey games for my high school and stuff like that, and then I'd do little art pieces, and then I'd take the cameras home and make my own little funny videos. That's kind of where I started. And then every time I had any little bit of money from doing stand-up, I would make short films. I made short films throughout my years. The short films for me go back to, I don't know, 89 or something like that. And I go to festivals with them. It's just something I've always loved. I didn't go to film school. I didn't go to college.
On the aisle here in the red.
Hi, thank you very much for this. This is really, really valuable. I just want to know what you have to say about censorship in terms of being a stand-up. You probably had to clean up your act when you did Conan or Letterman and stuff, and you're someone whose act is not clean. How do you deal with being told all the time, you must be clean, but knowing in your bones that you're not someone who is, you're someone who... Yeah. You're someone who swears a lot, and you know that's your essence or whatever. What's your advice?
Well, it's all about the venue. Where you're working is what decides what you get to say. I never felt. I don't get why we can't all say anything we want on TV. Nobody's ever explained to me why that isn't illegal. I don't get why there's an FCC that can make those rules. I don't understand it. It doesn't jibe with what I understand about America and the First Amendment. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, they're just words, right?
What?
They're just words.
Yeah, but you want to let me finish? But when you're working for a network, the FCC rules aren't usually the challenge. It's every network has a standards and practices person, and networks that go over the air are the ones that you have to have an FCC thing, but cable, you can say whatever you want, but as far as the law, but every network has their set of rules, because it's not just, none of us have a right to be on TV. It's their channel. They set the fucking thing up. They bought a big dish, and they have a satellite. They launch satellites into space. So for them not to have the right to decide what's on it, I think is stupid. I think it's really boring to me when anybody on TV goes well, assholes won't let me do it. Well, it's their fucking, why can't they enjoy what they put on too? And the way they pay for all that shit is advertising. And so they have sort of every place hires somebody who's there to who just knows where they're going to get in trouble and lose money. That's all. It's money. Everything has to be paid for. Anyway, when you do Conan shows like that, it's harder because it's the FCC, it's the airwaves. And it's a game, though. It's kind of fun. I had jokes improved by censorship. When I was at Conan, I did stand-up on the show, and I knew the standards guy because I was a writer. So I could actually... I did a joke about Giuliani at the time, who was the mayor of New York, and he was angry because somebody threw shit on a picture of Jesus or so. I don't know what it was. It was something where somebody made a piece of art they smeared elephant shit on a picture of Jesus' mother. Don't get mad at me. Somebody did that. Somebody did that, and Giuliani shut the funding down. And he said, people pick on Catholics. That's the problem, is that everybody feels like they can pick on Catholics. And I had this joke where I said, yeah, it's true people pick on Catholics, but that's just because they're wrong about God. And It's just a brazen asshole joke. So I wanted to do it on Conan, and the Sanders guy said, no way. So I called him. I said, I think I should. I learned how to argue with Standards people. I said, I think I have a right to say this because he's on the news saying his half, so it's an equal time issue. And he goes, all right, but how can you say it that's not so offensive? I don't want to get phone calls. So we talked about it. And he had this idea. He said, what if you sound, first of all, really sympathetic when you say, it's true, people do pick on Catholics a lot. But that's because they're wrong about God. Like he said, if you make it like a sillier turn, you show some sympathy, and then it's going to be clear you're joking when you say that. And I did it, and I got a way bigger laugh. Like it was an improvement. So, I don't know, that was a fun exercise to me. It's an intellectual exercise, the censorship sometimes. FX is very different. I don't understand how they're letting me do this shit. I don't understand it. When I handed in the God episode, that's the one I was the most worried about. Because it was barely funny, and it was insane. And I'd say this shit about Jesus. I mean, it's crazy. Usually, Jesus and the church is the one place you can't touch on television. It's the one place where no Standards person will let you fuck around. And I was worried about that episode, and I handed it in. It was one of the last ones, and nobody called me. Usually they call me right after they watch it. Nobody called. And I got really scared. Because every single episode up till then, they'd call me right, and I knew they'd watched it. I knew literally they watched it on a server that I control, and I know when it's been watched. I know, I'm crazy. So I knew they watched it, and nobody called me, and then I'm waiting, and then the next day I write the one guy I have there, executive, who's very sympathetic, and I wrote him, I said, hey, did you like it? No answer. And then I called him, and he didn't call me back, and I was getting really upset. And then I got an email from him saying, you must call me this instant. And I was like, it's over. Because of Jesus. So I call him, and he said, in 20 minutes, we're going to announce that your show's picked up for a second season. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I wasn't even thinking about that or expecting it, or I really thought we were probably going to get canceled. And I was like, what? And he said, yeah, just don't tell anybody. You have 20 minutes, you have to keep it a secret. And he hung up on me. And then I called him back and I said, wait a minute, what about the God episode? And he goes, oh, it's great. Don't touch it. It's great. It's great. No notes. We love it. So, and I did. Standards and I had some issues with the God episode. But I think she helped it too. There's a woman there, and she's brilliant. She's very smart. And her goal is to keep the show as irreverent as possible by keeping it away from any place where it's going to get it. Because if I piss off somebody enough, they're going to, it takes one person to go, and then the party's over. So. It's up to him. What am I doing?
It's on the aisle and back. Yeah, probably right next to you.
When did you know you were a good comic?
Oh, geez. He's still got the mic like he's ready with more. No, I don't know. When I first did it, I bombed really bad. I was so out of sorts. It was the worst thing that had ever happened to me the very first time I did it. And I did it a second time just because I wanted to know if it was really that bad, if it was just a bad night. And it was worse. And so that was when I was in high school. And then I didn't do it again for almost a year. And then I went to this weird offbeat place in Cambridge, Massachusetts that was just fun, weird. It was a off-the-wall cinema. It was a place where you would watch like Dada films and eat carrot cake. And they did stand-up comedy at midnight on Saturdays. So I went to the show, and it was really weird show, strange, trippy comedians. And I tried it there, and I had a really great set. That was my third time on stage, and I thought, I can do this. And then I bombed several times after that, but I didn't care, because that one set really got the hook in me. So I didn't know if I was good at it. I just thought, I have a way that this is something I could do that I enjoy. People laughed. Those 14 people in that club were responsible for a lot, because if I'd bombed that third time, I probably wouldn't be alive at all. I don't think I had a shot at anything else, really.
Let's see. White shirt in the center there. Your Cora's back.
I was wondering if you would comment about your time with the Dana Carvey show, talk about any creative process or anecdotes that you have from that. And secondly, the way that show was handled, did that impact what you fight for with creative control, or what sort of impact that had?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, that show was a really difficult time for me. It was bad. I mean, I hated it. And it's a good show, but I had a hard time. Dana was, hot coming out of SNL, and ABC gave him a show and said, we want you to be edgy and irreverent and be really out there. And then while we were starting to produce the show, ABC was bought by Disney, like literally in the middle of our pre-production. And then a whole different group of people came and said, they put Dana on the cover of TV Guide with Kermit the Frog with his arm around Kermit the Frog. And he never posed for that picture. Dana was furious to see himself, with his arm around Kermit the Frog. Like him and Kermit were at the China Club, and then somebody came over and he goes, oh yeah. And that was it. The show had such a, it was everything we did made somebody mad. But I did learn from that. One thing I learned was that there wasn't any need for us to be we were on primetime television. The show was like at 9 o'clock at night on ABC. It was just a mistake. Those people didn't want to see us. And I read letters, like handwritten letters by people. There was no email then. You got handwritten letters from old ladies saying, you hurt my feelings. And, I learned from that kind of like, you got to go where you're wanted, So I'm on FX, and it's, I remember when I was trying to find what the line was on FX, I was watching The Shield. And there is a scene where a woman has been raped and murdered, and somebody says, oh, and he ejaculated on her stomach. And then they zoom in to a pool of jizz on a dead lady's stomach. And a friend of mine, Vernon Chapman, who's a great comedy guy, he said, you should, because we're not allowed to show boobs on the show, he said, you should have a shot of a woman who's naked and cover her boobs with the jizz on the stomach of a dead lady. Like, this is okay. Beautiful, life-giving breasts are not okay. The mother's milk, gorgeous. Michelangelo made us cry when he painted them. Not okay. Jizz on the stomach of a dead woman. Totally. Why are you even asking? So when I should be on a network that lets you do that. This show should never be on anywhere else. If I got some weird call from an NBC saying we want it, I'd say, no, you're fucking wrong. People who watch your network don't want this. It's not fair to them. So I kind of learned that from Dana Carvey. That was a hard show to work on, though. It was just a lot of hours. I was there all night, every night. I cried like a lot on that show. Like I wept like a baby from exhaustion and just pressure. It was hard. I was in my 20s. I was like 25 years old. So it was a lot, and I was the head writer. It was a lot of pressure. I'm glad I did it. It's a huge education.
It's a young lady on the aisle here.
There you go.
Are the scenes with the other comics improvised, or is it totally scripted, like with Nick DiPaolo?
The poker scene was scripted. As far as once we start really talking about gay sex and asking those questions, and also the thing of all the stuff, most of the stuff of me talking about packing dicks into his mother's ass it's about a half scripted, a half. But once we shot the scene it was a really long day because we shot the scene once like scripted, and then I gave everybody a shot at screwing around and improvising, and then we all started getting a little punchy, and everybody started saying funny shit about wearing flip-flops and stuff, and then we kept shooting to get that, and then everyone was so warmed up that I was like, guys, can I just have the scene as written all over again on everybody's close-up? And they were like, fuck, and I made them do that. Everybody's happy because the scene came out good, but it was a lot. It was both. We kept shifting from scripted to some improvised. I don't usually do much improvising in this show because we shoot it like cinema. We shoot it, you know, with a lot of coverage, and we pick lenses carefully. So it's a kind of, if you improvise once, you kind of have to. But this scene ended up cutting together nicely because we didn't follow the script, and the camera kept kind of going around this spiral circle. That's kind of the way we shot it, in this weird spiral. And I liked that we could catch sometimes in the middle of a move, and some of the dialogue is clipped. I liked that. So that's how we did that one.
Stripes in front here.
In your mind, do you have a filter between topically, like what is good for stand-up and what is good for the show? Are there things in the show, topics or scenes that you would want to do stand-up but just don't work, or how do you differentiate for yourself?
Well, that's one thing I love about doing this show is that it all comes from the same place. Like, I kind of think of every episode as a stand-up set, and some things are said with my face and some are said with a lot of people's faces. And the subjects cling together in about as much as they do on stage. That I'll talk about something and sometimes I'll talk about something else tangentially, or I'll just suddenly just change the subject because I feel like it. So the show does that sometimes. Sometimes it's following a line and sometimes it just goes, anyway, you get it, here's this now. But it's a great, for me it's great because every time I have an idea of an area to do on the show, I can just make that choice. If it's not coming together as stand-up material, oh, well, maybe I should be showing this. So it's kind of 50-50. I mean, it's whatever. It depends on the subject. The gay thing, the poker thing, that was a real conversation I had with that comedian years ago. And I thought I should tell that story on stage. But then I thought, I'm not going to stand there and tell that story. It was his story, and I actually got him to, you know, that's the real guy. He's just a comedian from here in New York. So that was one thing where I thought about it on stage first and then thought I'd shoot it.
All right, we got time for one more, I think. I hate this godlike power. Sorry, everybody. Right in the center.
Nobody over there asked anything. I mean, and they want to.
All right, right next to you there.
Hi. Oh, my voice is horrible in this. I'm a film production student, and I actually wrote a script and based it off you and your show, and because I like your tone, and what is the best advice you can give for like a student and like attitude when you're doing that? Because you kind of say a big F you to a lot of people, and I like that.
You mean
I like attitude when you're
what attitude?
when you're in the production, which you've done it all, and what's the best attitude to really give?
The best attitude in production is really really wanting to help a lot, really wanting to help whoever's show it is. Be really great. I think that's anybody who's doing any job, really, should want that job to be done really well. I mean, this is a simple answer, but it's really true.
Yeah.
There's one person really usually that has an idea of how to do something, and everybody else should really want. I mean, it's such a rare and great gift to get a job in show business. It's very, very. It's not. You're not going to get one. I mean, statistically, you're not. So, you know, it's like when unemployment is like at 2%, they say it's full employment. Like that's how low your odds are. That statistically, you're not going to get a job that you really want in show business. So if you do, holy shit.
What if I was
and the way I would approach it is, I want to do everything I can to make myself valuable to these people. That's when you do it, when you're in production and you just see somebody kicking ass and wanting what they do to go well, you just never forget them. I mean, I have people I've kept around for years and years, and I just beg. There's people that don't want to do this shit anymore, and I beg them to stay on for me. That my DP, Paul Kessner, is a genius, but he wants to be on a boat all the time. He has a fucking boat, and he takes it to the Bahamas and shit. And so every time when we got season 2, he's the only one who didn't want to hear it. I'm like, we got picked up, and he's like, I'm like, please get off the fucking boat, because he's so eager to make what I see in my head real. So that's the way, all the way up to the very closest person. And then actually when you're the person who's running the thing, which is definitely not going to happen to you. I'm just trying to impress upon you how, if you get there, how rare that chance is going to be, and how important it is to seize it. If you get to be the person who gets to run the thing, then you have to kind of turn the same attitude on them, that you have to enable all those people to do their jobs. And I'm just the directorial department. I'm also the writing department and the editorial department. And the lead actor, but I just run those parts of the show. Everybody else has to. I have to know what they do. I know what everybody does because I was an intern. I mean, I carried camera cases. I did everything, and I hung lights in studios. So I know everything that goes on. So I know what I'm asking people to do. I know what I'm asking them to take on. I think it's arrogant to think that you can just force your will on a crew of people. You've got to be a human being. If you're a director or if you're a sound person. When I was shooting Pootie Tang, there was a young chick who was we had a boom operator. It was this young student who came on for one day, and we're all ready to shoot this really intricate shot, and she didn't like how she had the boom, so she just went, "Wait a minute, I'm not ready." And everyone was like, "What the fuck was that?" Because she was being belligerent and shitty, and so the person who we replaced her with was a real human being. They treated us like human beings. Everybody just wants to be treated decently. Life's too short to be an asshole as an employer or an employee. So if everybody likes the work and everybody wants the show to be as good as possible and everybody treats each other with respect, the show's going to be. And we have so much fun on this show because we don't have anybody on the set who everyone goes, "Oh, Jesus." I mean, it may be me. And then there's only one then, so, you know. The only question I want to answer, because everybody asks it, is about the middle finger during the opening credits. I know somebody here wants to ask it, so I'm going to answer it. During the opening credits of the show, some guy flips off the camera. It was a young NYU-looking kid. Spiky hair and just real contrary, and he was walking with some real fuck everything type. I mean, I was eating the pizza and I saw them and I already thought, Jesus. And they walked by and they were like, because they saw a camera and they saw people making a sincere effort at something, it was like just offensive to them. So one of them went, "Yeah!" and he flipped off the camera. And I remember that moment very well because I was eating the pizza and I watched him flip off the camera and I could tell by the angle that we caught it. And I thought, when that happened, I knew we were going to be on TV. Because that was when we were shooting the pilot, and it was a test to see if we could get it. But for some reason, I remember seeing that and thinking, that's just meant to be, that's going to be in the opening credits. It'll be fuzzy, because I fucking know how the camera works. It's going to be a little fuzzy, because it's out of the depth of field, and people are going to see it. I just knew that was just a sign to me that we would get to be on TV.
So there is a God.
There is a God. He gave me the finger.
Now, woo! We get to kill babies! Do some shots and kill some babies. I killed like 4 babies last night. It was fucking retarded. I just think it has to be one or the other. You know, like when people say abortion should be legal, safe, and rare. Why rare if it should be legal? If it should be legal, it's shitting. If it should be rare, it's murdering babies! But again, women should be allowed. Because 2 reasons I think women should be allowed to kill babies. Number 1, I don't think life is that important. It's just not. It is not. People get too excited. We're a family. We have a kid. That changes everything. That's the whole thing. The kid is everything. Marriage is nothing. Without a kid, marriage is dating. It doesn't mean shit. And you don't realize it until you have a kid. Here's what happens. When you get married, you go, holy shit, I can't leave now. I mean, I wasn't thinking of leaving, but now I really can't leave. Then you have a kid and you go, holy shit, I could have left. I totally could have left. Fucking door was right there. Now I can't go. I got a kid now. I've been divorced for 5 years, and it's been the best part of my life, being divorced. Easily my favorite part of my life. I love being divorced. Every year has been better than the last. And it's the only time I can say that about. And by the way, I'm not saying don't get married. If you meet somebody, fall in love and get married. And then get divorced. Because that's the best part. It's the best part. Marriage is just like a larva stage for true happiness. Which is divorce. Because you just let go. And everything's fine now. Divorce is forever. It really actually is. Marriage is for how long you can hack it. But divorce just gets stronger like a piece of oak. Nobody ever says, oh, my divorce is falling apart, it's over, I can't take it. And again, if you're in a good marriage, stay in it. If you're in the best marriage ever, stay in it. I'm just saying, if you got out, it would be better. That's just a fact. I'm sorry, but it's true. Everything's better. My ex-wife and I, this is the best part of our knowing each other. We're good co-parents because we live apart and we're friends. Our kids go to her half the week, they come to me half the week. And I'm a good father. I'm an attentive, focused, and responsible father. Do you know why? Because I get to say goodbye to these kids every week. Are you shitting me? It's like every parent's fantasy. Who can't be a good father for half of every week? No matter how bad it gets, every Wednesday I get to go, goodbye, girls. Daddy's gonna go upstairs and pour whiskey all over his naked body right now. I'm gonna lay in my own filth until 2 seconds before you come back here. That's why I'm such a good dad.
You know, I drove with a suspended license, so I got arrested. And the judge was like, you know, your record is reprehensible. You show no remorse. You do nothing but repeat your offenses, and I'm going to go the limit with this. Then the next guy is like, this guy threw a rock through a window, literally, and set a fire, and then passed out in the street. And he goes, are you in a program, young man? He goes, yes, sir, I am. Okay, good for you. Good luck. I wish you all the luck in the world.
All the luck.
In the world. All of the luck in the world.
In the world.
I want everyone else to have bad luck so that you can have good luck, you stupid drunk from Mansfield, Massachusetts. Just.
Joe had a little run-in years ago. Years ago, Joe wasn't able to get a license, registration, insurance, anything. He was like in that realm of your life when you go through that.
That's me right now.
So at the time, especially, the Reggies were a lot different on the windshield. It was just the sticker. So he drew one. He looked at one, got some colored construction paper, and drew the lines with a ruler. It used to just be like a grid with some holes that they punched in it on the date, almost like your inspection sticker still looks here in New York. And he drew it up, taped it to the windshield, and unless you were right on top of it, it looked perfect.
Wow.
Couldn't even tell. So his car breaks down on the parkway, and he's underneath the car, and a cop comes up and starts talking. So Joe's like, let me get my stuff out of the car. So he goes to go into the car, and the cop's kind of still looking at his tire, I think, had bent or something like that. So Joe just scrapes the crap right off the windshield. So the cop couldn't see it. And he goes, where's your registration? Everything goes, oh, no, I don't have one. And he wrote him up for everything. Joe goes to court and just says, I wasn't driving because my car was broken down on the side of the parkway. And it didn't matter how it got there or anything, because you could say I was trailering it, I was towing it. It was so he got away without anything.
That's amazing.
And there he was driving with this forged government documents. And
I got arrested once at the Holland Tunnel because this is how bad I was. My license was revoked. Not suspended, but revoked.
That's bad.
And I had, crazy amounts of warrants, open warrants. And the car I was driving had the plates from a different car.
Oh, that's never good. The cops don't like that.
No, and the plates were bad anyway. So, I mean, in other words, the car that they came from had expired. The plates were expired and from another car.
Wait, for anyone that doubted Louis was Mexican.
And I was coming through the Holland Tunnel and I had no money. That's where it all started. That I was one of those things where I pulled up to the toll booth and said, hi, I have no money. What do you do? How do we do this? And the guy said, just give me your license and I'll fill out a thing. And I go, it's not on me. And he goes, give me your registration. I go, I don't have that either. Says, give me your name and your
How
social security number.
You just said how smart this guy is, Jimmy.
Yeah, exactly.
This isn't a smart thing.
No.
You're right.
And then he made me pull over, and I went to jail. First, he put me in a jail cell that's under the Holland Tunnel toll booths. There's a jail cell.
There is?
Yeah, he took me down some stairs.
Hey, you got to see something most people don't get to
That's
see.
right. Yeah,
unless you're a scofflaw, not a criminal.
Exactly. And I slept the night. I actually spent the night. I just slept in a little jail cell down there, and then they transferred me to Weehawken County Jail, and that was the worst thing that ever happened to me in my life.
Is that one under a photo mat?
Well,
that
Weehawken is a really bad. It's a really bad jail. It's
Is it really?
Yeah.
Why? You wouldn't have, I would not have thought that at all.
It's terrible. People are throwing food out the windows all the time because of the food. I mean, I almost puked just taking a bite out of a sandwich there.
Was it violent there, frightening?
Yeah, it was really scary. It was really bad.
Weehawken, who would have guessed?
Yeah, it's really bad.
They
It's
don't
not.
bother you?
It's mostly New York drug addicts that get taken, like, because the New York jails overflow, and they start letting the Port Authority arrest people so that they can take them to New Jersey, because Port Authority is New York, New Jersey. So,
How long were you in for?
like a day and a half. I was in, like for a morning, afternoon, night, and the whole next day. It was horrible.
That's a long time.
Well, and when I got there, I was in a holding cell, and one of the guys in the holding cell said to me, "Don't let them take you out of this cell, because you'll never be heard from again. If you get moved to a permanent cell, they'll never find you. They lose people because it's a bad bureaucracy." And everybody in the cell agreed, don't leave this cell. And a cop would come once in a while and say, "We got to move you," and I'd go, "No." He said, "Just say no." I'm like, "How do you just say no to?" And I go, "No, I'm not moving." And he goes, "Come on, we're moving you to permanent cell." And I go, "I'm not leaving here." And he goes, all right. That kept happening. I just kept refusing to leave.
How
the
do you
cell.
refuse?
Just say no.
Wow, I didn't know that was an option.
Yeah.
No, let me out.
It's really
I don't belong here.
No, and the worst part was that there was a toilet just in the middle of the floor of the whole place, like in the middle of the room.
Yeah, you would just have to sit
You just
there.
have to sit there and
There's no
close.
There's no
I
privacy.
bet I got
or
dumped
anything,
even though I didn't
No,
say
it didn't.
I
think
you stopped it.
So wait, if you get moved to a permanent cell, you'd be there for a week, maybe.
Basically, and I mean, I was because I made bail before I even arrived, because I called. I used the phone in the Holland Tunnel cell, and I made bail right away. But it took 2 days for the bail to find me.
Oh,
it's amazing,
man.
Yeah, it's bad.
How much was
Prison
bail?
System is bad. Oh, I mean, I had to pay. Yeah, it was like
nothing.
No, it was a lot. It was
Really?
like $600 or something. I mean, for me, that was a lot then. Now I would. You're like, I'll pay $6 million to get out of here. I don't have that kind of money.
Figure we could take care of it right here in Brainerd.
Exactly.
Give him that one.
Exactly. Right here in Brainerd.
I just want to be in full compliance.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Iraq. Yes.
Yes, because that helps
Fargo
with
song.
They want more